Krishna, what is the Shreya path out here, which will lead to eternal welfare? Oh Shri Krishna, I am surrendering my intellect to you. That opens up the path to welfare. See, you do it in the world also. You do not know medical science. You go to a doctor. Mr. Doctor, I've got this pain here and this pain in my tooth and the pain in the head and I've got my nose flowing and the stomach upset. The doctor says, get all the tests done. You go back with all the reports. Doctor checks out the reports. He says, oh, all right, I've got the problem. I have caught the disease. Now you do not use your intellect. I will use my intellect. I am giving you this medicine. Take 2 drops in 1 teaspoon of water 3 times a day for 2 months. And eat these items, do not eat these items. You will be cured. Because we do not know medical science, how this body functions. We've not spent 8 years studying it. So we say, all right, let's do whatever the doctor says, that is for my welfare. And if we use our tiny intellect, Mr. Doctor, you said 2 drops of medicine and this 1 tablespoon of water, what will 2 drops do in such a big body? And you told me that I should take it for 2 months. Let me do one thing. Let me take the whole bottle today. I'll be cured in 1 day. Probably you didn't think about it. They didn't teach you in medical school. The doctor will say, you please get your mental treatment done from some psychiatrist, then come to me, or you will take the whole medicine today and then people will start saying Ram Nam Satya. So, for medical help, we surrender to somebody who has more knowledge on the medical side. When it comes to legal help, you surrender your intellect to the advocate. And you do not know anything about law. What are these intricacies? The advocate understands and he says, all right, I have understood. When you go into that witness box, if they ask this, you answer this. If they ask anything else, you keep quiet. And he says, all right. He follows to the letter. They ask him, he answers whatever he had memorized. They ask him anything further, he says, quiet. Ask my advocate. See, the other advocate says, this fellow is very firm. He doesn't budge an inch. I am not able to get anything out of him. So we did not know law. We made up for our deficiency of the knowledge of law by surrendering the intellect to someone who had superior knowledge. Should we not be doing the same thing on the spiritual path? We do not have spiritual knowledge. We have never read the Bhagavad Gita, the Mahabharata, the Ramayana. We have not practiced these things. On the other side is the Guru, who knows all these, who has digested these, who has traversed the path, who is situated in perfection. So if we want spiritual welfare of the soul, we should be surrendering our intellect. Guruji, I do not know what is right, what is wrong. You please tell me. Now, if we accept that with humility, then we accept the teachings of the Guru, and that is the path to welfare. In other words, spiritual knowledge will come in 2 ways. One is the descending process, and the other is realization. It is different from scientific knowledge. Scientific knowledge, the modern scientific trend is the ascending process. One scientist, Newton, came up to this Newtonian model of the universe, then Einstein pushed it further with the theory of relativity, then Niels Bohr pushed it further with his quantum theory, then they're trying to reconcile it with the unified field theory. They're pushing the frontiers of knowledge upwards. But how many centuries will it take until you reach the truth? And we don't have such long lives. So the spiritual process is different. You don't have to slowly push it upwards. All right, what did Aristotle say? What did Plato say? What did Socrates say? And slowly over the centuries we come to the truth. You just receive it from the Guru. The Guru knows. The scriptures know. You receive it from there. So when we get knowledge from the Vedas, from the Bhagavad Gitas, from that enlightened saint, we can be sure this knowledge is perfect. I just need to grasp it and implement it. That is why the importance of the Bhagavad Gita. If there is a discussion going on between two Indians, let's say in the railway train, we have 24 hours to pass, so you have people engage in all kinds of philosophic discussions. And one fellow says it is written in the Gita. Other says, all right, then I cannot argue. If it's written in the Gita, it can't be wrong. Why? Because given by God Himself. So in this descending process, we receive knowledge, provided we have humility. In other words, this is so easy to receive knowledge like this. But this pathway is only accessible to us if we are humble enough. And if we don't have that humility, we will say, why should I listen to the Guru? Why should I accept the Bhagavad Gita? Why should I say that Sri Krishna knew and Arjuna did not know? Our doubting mind can create doubts in anything. There was once two parents. So they had a spiritual inclination and spiritual aspirations for their child, aware of the goals of life, equipped with the tools of spirituality to move ahead. So they said, let's take our child to a Gurukul in Kashi and give him Gurukul education. So they put the child there. Now, after 2 years, they went back to Kashi to find out how their child is doing. They asked the Guruji, how is our child doing? Guruji said, well, he's a brilliant child, but he's got two problems. The first is, he doesn't know anything. The second is, he's not willing to accept the authority of anyone. Now, how will I teach him? Firstly, there is neem ki chutney and then there is karele ka achar. If somebody doesn't know and is not willing to accept a superior authority, how will you teach that person? So that spiritual knowledge begins with humility. When we say that we do not know, and then we accept the superior source, that here is how we wish to know.